Okay, so Rich, Cove, and I are talking about what we might expect or like to see with the GoPro Hero 5. And we don't know when it's coming out, but the Hero 4 is pretty sweet. We like it. We have no real complaints about it. But Rich, what's one thing you would like to see added with the Hero 5?
I think one of the biggest things for me would be a higher frame rate in the 1080p. We've got the 720p 240 at the moment, but it'd be nice to have a 1080 because when you look at the 720, when you do post-edit, you can see just a slight pixelation in the picture, especially if the light is a little low. It's much better if there's bright sunlight, but I think the main thing for me would be that is make sure that we have 1080p at 240. Not too worried about the 4K. I think that runs quite smoothly as it is, because you can just blend the two together. So really, that's how I'd like it to be improved.
All right, well,
frame rates. How about you?
Well, I'll give you one of mine. I would like to see 4K at medium field of view, not always wide. I don't know what it would take to do that, but I love shooting in 2.7K medium field of view. It's one of my favorite shooting modes now, and I think it would be cool to get the not so fisheye lens looking in 4K. So that's one of my little wishes on the wish list. Back to you, my friend. What would you like to see?
What else would I like to see on it?
Yeah, let's see who runs out of stuff first.
I think, obviously, the one thing everyone complains about is about battery life. If they could find a way of squeezing more power out the battery, or fitting a bigger battery, or producing a better battery that'll hold longer charge, then GoPro, let's have it. Let's put it in the GoPro 5, and let's have one that's, and I know it's not going to be a massive improvement, but at least let's get it to 2 hours or 3 hours, something like that can allow me to do longer time lapse without having to stick my rab in it. And so that's one. Over to you.
Well, since you bring it up, here's the old Hero 3 Plus. Not my favorite camera. I think the Hero 4 was a pretty good improvement. But why in the crap did they decide to make the battery where it has to go up the bottom? I still like this. Yeah, it sounds pretty weird, doesn't it? I still shoot a lot of the time with my GoPro in a thing like this where I can't access the bottom, and to switch the battery I have to take it out of the frame and open up the bottom and pull the battery out. When in the old days, all I had to do was I had this thing inside the frame, and I could just flip the little door open in the back, and I could switch my battery out. And so I wish they would consider going back to this little back door. It was not a bad thing. Maybe what the problem was is people complained about losing the back doors, because I have lost a back door on one of these, but they're not that much to replace them. And so maybe that's the reason they went to the little thing on the bottom, but it's inconvenient. So I would like to see this configuration come back. I'd like to go backward just a little bit, guys, and consider doing that. Back to you, Rich.
Let's have a backlight on the screen that's on the camera. So when you're doing night lapse, or when you're in low light, or when you're old and you can't see like me, that there's a little backlight that lights that panel up so I can see it. It's so frustrating. I've made some fishing videos in the dark, and it was put the headlamp on, try and find out the settings, then switch it off and set it up, and then switch it on again. So something like a backlight on that screen would be perfect for me.
Wow, that's a great idea. He's talking about, folks, this right here, so you can see what's going on in the dark, and that is true. You have to take a flashlight out with you, especially if you're doing a night lapse or something like that. Now, since we mentioned night lapse, this is one I'd like to see. So you can do, right now, you can do a night lapse. You can set your time lapse up to do like 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20, and I think 30. I think 30 might be the longest. You said there might be 60 though a while ago when we were talking. So how hard would it be to allow us to do this on second intervals? Maybe, like I've been doing some night lapses, and there's enough ambient light coming from cities and stuff when I'm trying to shoot the stars. 30 seconds is too much, 20 seconds is not enough. It would be cool to be able to set your night lapse for 24-second exposure with the shutter. I mean, how hard would it be just to allow the little clock, internal clock in there, to do a 22 second or an 18 second or a 12 second. Why does it have to be 2, 5, 10, 20, 30? I would like that option. I would like to be able to control more the shutter speed to get even more dramatic nighttime shots. Anything else you have, Rich?
Yeah, I was thinking the other day when I was messing around with my Sony and putting on a filter lens, that with the GoPro, I haven't got mine to hand, but with the GoPro, where the lens is, it would be nice if there was I've seen it on some cameras before, I'm trying to think which one it was, you have a little handle on the top of the lens that you flick and a UV lens will plop in place. So you can move it out the way if you needed to. So I know there's lots of fittings out there, you can stick things on, have big ones, little ones, all that sort of stuff, but it would be nice to have like an internal one. I've got one on my headlamp that I use that I can flick it and it will change the point of the light, so it either makes it wide or small, or so it'd be nice to have a UV filter, because you know we buy these cameras all the time and the first thing they tell you in the shop, well, you need a UV filter to go on the front of that.
Yeah.
It does work a lot better with the UV on it, brings the colours out, looks much better. So that would be useful for people that don't want to post edit, because you can obviously do that in there. But maybe something that would allow you, even a setting on the camera, which would allow you to have an effect of UV maybe.
Interesting. I wonder how hard it would be. Here's another kind of one of my wants or wishes is, you know, when you do still shots with this, it's not terrible. It's just not great. When you compare it to what you shoot with your iPhone or with what you shoot with a regular DSLR, and I understand it's not going to be like you're shooting with your Nikon or something, but I would like to see a little better fidelity with photos with this. And I am wondering, you know, even though I don't know that I need 8K, which is something people have talked about, maybe the GoPro going to 8K rather than 4. I think 4 probably is the most any of us are going to use on video, 4K. But I think it would be better to have even a few more pixels from a photo. Right now we've got 4,000 by 3,000 is what it'll shoot. I'd like to see 6,000 by 4,000 or something like that. And I wonder how hard that would be to do. Particularly, that would be really cool for doing the night lapses. Me, I'm big time into these night sky things and trying to get the meteors and the satellites and things coming across. And by the way, probably my favorite thing about the Hero 4 is the control over the shutter speed. The fact you can shoot these in the dark type things with your photos and do your time lapses. To me, if I were going to say one thing I just really, really celebrate and thank you guys for is giving us that. From the Hero 3 Plus to the 4, that was a really cool thing. But anyway, do you have any others that you're thinking of, Rich, you'd like to have?
Yeah, just show me the bottom of the camera, because I wish I had mine to hand, but I haven't. The bottom of the 4.
I actually am recording with the 4. But you're right.
Let's do the 3.
I can do the 3 because here's the 3.
Can we put a tripod?
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
To that camera, rather than having to fit a frame and a adapter to be able to put it on a tripod or anything. Can we just have a thread straight into the camera?
And you know, so what you're wondering about is how much real estate is in here where you could run a thread up through there without hitting something. And you know, I don't care if it's off center. It doesn't have to be dead center. It could be over here on this side, or it could be over here. I mean, if it naturally it can't be on the side, we wouldn't want that, but wouldn't it be cool if there was just one little place here or some sort of plate that you could put on it that you could leave there and be able to put, you're right, I mean, it's aggravating to have to take this or this kind of configuration and you're putting screws through there and you know, or you got this little guy here that you have to buy and this darn thing. You know, okay, here you go. Here's a thing I could fuss about. At the very least, we need these. Why does that not come with the standard GoPro? Why do I have to pay 15 bucks extra or whatever it is, 10 bucks extra for that little guy, when you know you give us a bunch of stuff in the case? I'm not harping but yeah, that's a very simple thing they could give us when you buy a new GoPro, and you have to buy these things separately, guys. So crazy. And you know. Then again, I think something like this would be a nice little accessory. I use this from a Zoom H2. I mean, it goes on the. This comes with one of these guys, and you see it's threaded on the bottom. So I'm continually, to me this is really cool because when I hook my GoPro up to it, I'm not going to right now, but I can do A/B blogging type stuff. I can be interviewing people, and all I have to do is twist my fingers. And I can be shooting a video of you, I'm shooting a video of me, you, me, you, me, you. There's no accessory like that GoPro makes. If I were Zoom, I'd be marketing these things to GoPro owners. Just a nice little sleek plastic handle that you can stick to the bottom of your GoPro and do quick turns. Yeah, it's a thought.
Here's a question then about GoPro 5 and what you think the possibilities are. How about some stabilization?
Wow. The Sony is doing that really well because of the fact that lens floats in there, and we're talking about the FDR AX33 that we both own. And is that not amazing? If I mean that stabilization is great, but there's no room inside a GoPro for that lens to float. It would have to be software based. You know, that's where rather than trying to go to 8K, what if you went to 5K and just and by that I mean, you know, you got your 4K field, but what if you could go just a little bit bigger, and that extra K around the outside is this area where you can stabilize, you know? But because that's really what software stabilization does, is it uses extra pixels that aren't being used on the outside, and it floats the image inside that, and it does that. What if GoPro could come up with a way to take just, you know, maybe they don't go to 8K, they just leave it 4K, great, but then make it actually 5K, and there's a little bit of extra blank space that gets rid of just this little bit of stuff. Because that's all it would take. It's not bad video that you shoot with them, but if you could take 20% of the shake out of your GoPro video, it would become a lot more watchable, wouldn't it? So yeah, I think there is I think the smart people at GoPro should listen to this video and think about that one. I think they could make that happen.
Then it saves everyone having these great big gimbal handles that we have to use to stop it from moving, and
yeah,
you know, and I know part of the thing with the GoPro is about action and movement and things like that, but now they get used for so many other things. I've seen several people with them when I was on holiday, on their selfie poles, on poles. You know, they weren't shooting, they weren't on a skateboard, they weren't on a surfboard. You know, they were people that were, I think one of them was vlogging their day out and using that. So it'd be nice if they gave something, you know, because their camera now, the GoPro, is so much more than it was developed for.
Speaking of taking it to one other level, Rich, and this is something since the very first GoPro I bought was a Hero 3 years ago, something like 3 years ago, and from the very first get-go I had of it, and I started seeing the video quality, how good it looked. It had 4K at 15 frames per second. It had, you know, 1080p that looked really sharp and nice, and the fact it's compact and you can put it anywhere. I thought GoPro should be capitalizing on the security market, and I still think there's a fortune to be made. What if GoPro actually made some sort of, I don't know, 8-channel receiver for a GoPro for the cameras? What if you, because see, here's the thing, almost all the security cams I see these days, even the high def ones, still look crappy compared to GoPro. A GoPro, if you had security cameras on your business or whatever, you could actually read license tags from across the parking lot. You could actually give the police something if somebody broke into your house, that you could actually see features and scars on people's faces. You could read the emblems on shirts. You know, you could actually, the GoPro is good enough quality that they ought to be hooked up to security cam systems, multi-channel things, and some sort of way that you could channel those in and make those your security cameras. And, you know, they're so small you could hide them in places. I just think it would be something they ought to look into. I would think that a lot of criminals could be caught and all just by the great super high quality resolution you've got. People wouldn't be stealing grapes off my grapevines and stuff like that.
I think, you know, I think that's a good idea. I think the only issues with it is they cost £400 or $400 for one. You can get a security camera cheaper than that, even though it's crap quality.
Yeah.
and they don't work very well at night.
True. You have to have. Well, you know that's. What do you think about a night vision option? You know,
Yeah, I think that would be excellent. I think the Sony's got on.
I don't think you'd have to have. I don't think you'd have to have infrared built into it. I think you just have to be able to see infrared light. I mean, you could buy GoPro could sell, or a third party could sell an infrared projector. In other words, something that shoots out the infrared light, right? If you could just have the GoPro in such a way that it would receive the infrared, let the third party person create. I mean, then you'd be there'd be a whole other field that would open up of people that would project the light. The Sony shoots. Our Sony shoot out the light, maybe 10 or 12 feet. You've got a bit of infrared light that shines out, and then it picks it up. But you could have people get the infrared light that could shoot out 50 or 100 feet, and you could be seeing wildlife in the middle of the night and shooting it with your GoPro from 100 feet away. If it would just pick up that kind of light, that sort of wavelength. Mm-hmm. So even that's a crazy thought. That might be beyond what the people at GoPro are thinking, but man, it would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool if people that like to night ski or take them out camping, camping trips and things? It would be great if your GoPro were all you needed for even your night shots. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, infrared would be good. Like you said, used for so much more, talking around the campfire, doing all those sorts of things, just generally hiking in the dark, all that great footage, and setting it up for animals and things would be brilliant, because there are cameras out there that can do that, but they're quite big and chunky. But so it'd be good to have that. So the next the GoPro 5 then should have all those features.
I guess we probably exhausted our ideas, but wouldn't it be cool? Here's the last thing I would say to wrap this up is, if anyone at GoPro watches this, we'd like to know. I mean, I'm gonna put this on the GoPro guys Facebook page, and clue me and Rich in if you're out there listening. And folks, if you want to leave your comments about things you'd like to see the GoPro do, or make your own video and send it to us, we'll go ahead and link it up to this video and maybe get you some more hits going that way. But I'd love to hear anyone's ideas of what the Hero 5 ought to do. I think it's important that people at GoPro listen to folks like us rather than just sit in their R&D department and come up with what they think we need. I mean, it's cool to listen to us and let us tell you what we need and what we'd like to have. So, let us know if you've seen anything, you GoPro people out there. Anything you want to say in closing, Rich?
No, I think you said all what we need to say. If there's people that have got ideas, ideas that we've not talked about, and what GoPro should have on number 5, but I bet that's already been ticked and sealed. They're probably looking at GoPro 6 and what that might hold. Yeah. But leave your comments, it's always good. And if the videos that we like at GoPro shot, we'll stick them on the website as well. So do it.